Place the crate containing your Sharewall product flat on the floor near the installation area. Remove all obstacles from the surface where Sharewall is to be installed. This includes baseboards, plates for electrical outlets and wall switches, emergency lighting, and so on. For drop ceilings, remove panels closest to the installation wall and temporarily relocate the framing to a position several inches higher. Carefully open the Sharewall crate by removing all of the screws holding its MDF lid to the wooden frame. Place the lid out of the way, as you won't be using it during installation. Next, remove and set aside the protective material on top of your Sharewall panels. Now you should be able to see the topmost Sharewall panel, covered with clear protective plastic and taped to its own sheet of MDF. Without removing the plastic or detaching the Sharewall product from its MDF backing, carefully inspect it for any imperfections or obvious damage. At least 2 people should be involved in lifting the product by its MDF backing only and transporting it carefully to a smooth floor near the installation site. Begin by measuring the width of your first Sharewall panel, usually 48 inches. Measure and mark that same distance from the wall adjacent to your installation at 3 different points: bottom, middle, and top. Select the mark farthest from the adjacent wall and use a level to draw a vertical line all the way from above the ceiling line to the floor. Use the level again to draw a second line perpendicular to the first. It should be close enough to the floor that replacing the baseboard will cover it by at least an inch. Usually 2 inches above floor level is sufficient. With a tape measure, determine the exact height of your first Sharewall panel. Measure and make a mark at exactly that height above the horizontal line you just drew near the floor. Then use the level again to draw another horizontal line at that height. The vertical line along with the topmost horizontal line determine the proper placement of your first Sharewall panel, and that's critical to the correct placement of all subsequent panels. Peel off the tape holding the Sharewall panel to its MDF backing, but leave the clear protective plastic in place. Measure from the vertical line to both the left and right sides of any obstacle requiring a cutout for the first Sharewall panel's installation. Now measure the distance from the topmost horizontal line to both the top and bottom of the same obstacle. It can be helpful to write the measurements on the wall itself. Using a tape measure and making sure to identify both the top and the correct side of the first Sharewall panel, transfer the obstacle's measurements onto the clear protective plastic coating. Use the marks in a steel square to outline the necessary cutout. Do this for all obstacles. Before cutting the Sharewall panel, double-check that your measurements on both it and the installation wall are correct. Elevate your Sharewall panel from the floor by placing 2 levels or lengths of lumber under it, one on either side of the area marked for cutout. You can cut the Sharewall panel by drilling a pilot hole and then using a jigsaw. Both drill bit and jigsaw blade should be suitable for metal work. Be careful not to lean heavily or sit on the panel surface. When all of the cutouts have been completed, remove your supports and return the Sharewall panel to a position flat on the floor. Now you can peel the protective plastic from the surface of the panel and examine it more closely for imperfections. Sharewall panels are best applied to vertical surfaces using a pair of modular aluminum handles available from MooreCo. These handles use 3M command strips to grip the panels and keep them upright during application to the wall. Attach the command strips to both handles and peel away their protection. Firmly press the sides of the handles with the command strips to the Sharewall panel, approximately 6 inches from the long sides. 2 installers then lift the panel by the handles, keeping a bow in it and bringing it to an upright position. Be careful not to twist or bend the panel excessively as you move it into position at the wall. A 3rd installer can guide the panel into its exact position, as perfectly aligned to the vertical and topmost horizontal lines as possible. With the panel positioned and held firmly in place, the installer next to the vertical line flexes the panel away from the wall just enough for installer 3 to peel away approximately 6 to 10 inches of its paper backing all the way from top to bottom. Recheck the panel's alignment before pressing its edge firmly to the wall. Now, installer 3 moves to the other side of the panel, and with installer 1 flexing it away from the wall, removes the paper backing completely. All 3 installers then begin pressing the remainder of the panel to the wall, slowly unflexing it so that it ends up flat and securely attached. To install a second Sharewall panel, butt it up tightly to the first, along the original vertical line, while matching the corners at top and bottom. Use a panel roller to assure you've achieved optimum adhesion. After all panels have been installed, lower the ceiling back to its original height and restore all obstacles. That's it, you're done.